Hi, welcome back. We're going to do something that I actually haven't done on my channel in a long time, and that's a singular foundation review. I have not purchased a new foundation in months. Like when I say months, I'm not joking. The only new foundations I received are within PR, and really there haven't been a ton coming in lately. I've been seeing this foundation all over my For You page. It is a cushion foundation from the brand called TirTir. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It is a Korean cushion foundation. I just felt inclined to buy it because I kept seeing everyone talk about it. So it's a really interesting name here. It is called the TirTir Mask Fit Red Cushion Foundation. So when I say everyone and their mother has been talking about this, I'm sorry if this is your millionth review because I feel like this has been viral for probably about a month now. But I thought I would hop on and talk about it because I think it's a pretty interesting formula. So yeah, this was just so viral that everywhere I was scrolling, there it was. So whenever I saw that it was still in stock, I went ahead and grabbed it. I have been wearing this for 4 days, and it's really funny. Today is the 4th day that I am wearing it. I'm currently wearing it right now, and today's the only time I've had a little bit of an opinion shift. So yeah, if you've been seeing this and you want to know a little bit more about it, then let's go ahead and jump in. Let's start off with the shade range on this. I'm going to be honest, it's not good in my opinion. There are 30 shades and it's basically like 30 shades of vanilla. I think with a 30 palette range, there should definitely be more. Like some of these shades, literally the first like 5 to 8 shades look like the same color. So yeah, I personally don't think the shade range is too impressive. On this lineup. I will tell you the shade that I got is 23 Sand. This is where I've had the opinion shift on this. Like I said, I wore this all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I was like, this is like a perfect shade match. Keep in mind, I wore it with nothing else. That's how I like to try my foundations out in their little trial phases. So I wore it with nothing else. And I just remember every day, like looking at it, I'm like, man, this is a really good match. Today, when I put this on, I will say I'm wearing a little bit more than usual than what I wore over the weekend. She was a little dark. She's pulling a little dark on me today. And I will say that from the reviews that I've seen, I feel like this foundation tends to run on the yellow side. So I got 23N, which is supposed to be a neutral shade, and I still felt like it ran a little yellow. So if you struggle with oxidizing or your foundation's turning orange or yellow, you might want to go for their cool range. I don't know if that would be better. I saw one review where the girl picked out, I think it was this same number, 23 like W, which is warm, and it was so yellow. She couldn't even wear it. So I will caution you when, picking a shade, if you do think this is something you're going to be interested in, keep that in mind. Anyways, going back, today you'll see in the demo, because I applied it earlier today for the demo, that it looks a little dark on me, which I do not understand because I've worn it for 3 days up to this point and it was seamless. So you might want to be cautious if you go off my shade selection. I was bouncing back and forth between 21N and 23N, and I just ended up with 23N because I've been to the beach, honey. I got a little bit of a tan, and I had faith in myself that I could rock the 23N. I mean, it doesn't look bad. Like you can't really tell. I did even out with a little bit of concealer. But you might want to go for the 21 if you typically reach for shades that are recommended by me if you think you have a similar skin tone. Okay, so let's get into this. This is supposedly the #1 foundation worn in Japan. And the first thing I want to talk about is that this is called the Radiant Mask Cushion, and I know they have a pink compact that is the matte version, which is really interesting to me. That's the first, I don't want to start off saying bone to pick, but I do not find this foundation to be super radiant. Not one day have I had to set this with powder. It absolutely dries down on your skin. And in my opinion, if you do not wear something like, if I don't have something like this girl underneath, like my M Beauty Extreme Cream, which will give you a total glow, she's gonna run semi-satin. Like true satin on my skin. I did not use any setting powder today and she is dried down, baby. So the radiant claim on this, I don't necessarily agree with. I think that it will mock whatever you put underneath it. Saturday and Sunday I was at my in-laws house. I brought very minimal makeup, but my moisturizer was very like glowy and dewy underneath, and that's how this translated. So very similar to, I would say, not comparing totally in formula to Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin, but that is another chameleon foundation that will take on the appearance of whatever you put on underneath it. So if you're buying this thinking it's going to be super radiant by itself, no, sis. I would give this a solid satin finish. And the reason I think that this, how should I say this? The reason I think that this looks a little bit more semi-satin and flat on the skin is because of the longevity claim. So this is supposed to have a 72-hour wear. Am I testing that out? No, I'm not going to wear a foundation for 72 hours. Just who is? This has a phenomenal wear time. Like, I have washed my face in the shower and then gotten out and done a double cleanse, and it's still been on there. So in order to get that longevity, most foundations have to have something that's going to dry down a little bit and adhere to the skin. And that's what I think is in this that causes it to do that. But if you are looking for something that has really, really good longevity, I mean, and it's been blazing hot. It's been 94, 95. I've worn it outside. And it has hung in there. So I have been really impressed with the longevity. I have been applying this with the little, sponge that it comes with. I don't know. I just feel like a traitor. If I'm using a cushion foundation, I feel like a traitor if I don't use my little press puff that it comes with. You know what I mean? So I have not tried this any other way. I have not tried to apply it with my fingers. I feel like that would be nonsensical to dip my finger in here, and I just haven't found the formula. To me, I just don't know if it would. I've seen some people use it with a brush. I just don't think it's my cup of tea. So I have been applying this with my puff. The second thing I wanted to talk about is the coverage level on this. This is a high coverage mofo. Like, she is serving coverage, which you don't, I feel like, always typically see in a cushion foundation. I feel like cushion foundations are normally very skincare focused, skincare forward, light, breathable coverage. This does feel good on the skin. Like, it's not the most, barely there feeling that I have in terms of like a complexion product, but it feels lightweight when you put it on. However, be careful, cautious with this, because in my opinion, the more of this you put on, the worse it looks. Like, if you layer her up, it's literally called mask fit. You will look like you have a mask on, and that is no joke. Today, like I said, I'm wearing a little bit more than usual. I don't know why. I just like kept kind of like patting it on, knowing that it was not going to look that good, because the first day that I wore it, I kind of put too much on, and I was like, okay, sis, you need to be careful. I think the less the better with this. If you can just get away with targeting where your problem areas are. So on me, that's the redness, around like my nose area, on my cheeks, on my eyes. That's where I will focus the most of the product. But I find it looks best with a really light hand and light application, because the pigment is there. Like, you tap a little bit onto that puff and you press it in, the pigment is there. So if you press super hard on that puff and you get a lot on that pad, the first day I used this, I got, let me see if I can like show you what I did. I covered the first like half up here in foundation, like fully, and it covered my whole face and more. So quick coverage on this, lots of coverage. You can definitely get a full coverage with this. Would I recommend? No. Like, go buy Estee Lauder Double Wear if that's what you're looking for. I would just apply this delicately and as minimal as possible, because that's how I think it looks best. So, like I mentioned, I was wearing this over the weekend, and I would wear my typical, like, really hydrating moisturizer underneath. And I have to admit, I kept glancing at my skin throughout the day in 95-degree heat. I was in and out. We were outside, like, grilling and coming back in. I was like driving to the store and I kept glancing at my skin and I just thoroughly enjoyed how my skin looked. I have to be honest, it looked like my skin, but better. And dare I say a little like airbrushy. Like she was giving a little bit of an airbrush vibe. Like I said, I wasn't wearing anything else with it. Like today I've got my little Courtney quarantine, Mom Beauty grunge situation going on. I've got her blush, her lip, her eye, none of that over the weekend. Just testing this out and I was really pleased with how it looked. Same thing, looking at this right now, I've been wearing it for about 6 hours. And even despite putting like a little bit too much on, like I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, okay, it's probably my least favorite day I've worn it, but I know it's because I put a little bit too much on. And when foundations especially have a tendency to dry down like that, you do not want to like double layer it up because that's when you kind of get that super cakey look. But I look at my, like I didn't set my skin with anything. That's the shocking thing, is that it still looks very natural without having to set. So I think that'll be a benefit to a lot of you who don't necessarily enjoy setting powders or you don't want to fool with it. It's very travel friendly, quick and go. Like when I went to my in-laws house this weekend, I did not bring a setting powder because I had already tried it for one day and was like, okay, cool. Like it really doesn't need it. So this is all I had to bring with a little bit of blush, mascara, good to go. Who do I think that this is going to benefit best? Definitely those of you who have actually normal to combo skin. I'm going to say I think will really enjoy this because it has that property that is going to dry down, that is really going to benefit those of you who might have excess oils. Whereas using something that may have more of like that glowy dewy is not going to dry down and your oils are going to break through it quicker. I would dare to say, again, I don't have oily skin. We know I have dry skin 24/7. So I can't, vouch for the oil part, but I would dare to say that just with the longevity that I've experienced with this, that even people with combo oily skin would have a pretty good chance of having a long wear time with this because there's just something about it where you can feel that it sets. So normal combination skin, I think oily would be fine. You may want to set a little bit if you consider yourself super oily. Now, I do want to talk to dry skin folks out there. Dry skin, make sure you are using something super rich underneath this because like I said, that's the one thing I disagree with in the name is they really advertise this as like a radiant foundation and it's really not. It's, in my opinion, more of a satin foundation. A long wear satin foundation has a great thin breathable formula, but I just don't find it to be radiant unless I have something underneath that exudes that radiance. I am wearing, the glow you're seeing right now is a highlighter from Mob. It's the Hyaluronic Highlight Balm. So it's not coming from the foundation at all. So if you are dry, make sure that you prep accordingly because if not, I 100% can see where this will dry down and absolutely look like a creasy, crepey, dry mess. I honestly think this is a really great option for the summertime because I've had such a great experience with the longevity on it. Like truly, it has stayed put all day, every day that I've worn it. This is my first day inside wearing it all day. So, it's got a little less of a budge. But like I said, when I was wearing it all weekend, like out in the 95-degree weather, I still kept glancing at my skin. I was like, man, like my skin looks good. It truly just looked like semi-perfected skin. So that is a huge bonus with this. I think if you struggle with longevity and you are looking for foundations that can, hang in there this summer, this might be one to look into. Some final things I wanted to point out. These were just little things that I noticed and experienced while testing this out. One would definitely be the shade shifting. I don't know if I just, like I said, applied a little bit more today. I didn't have the same moisturizer. I was using Tatcha's water cream over the weekend to wear underneath, and today I used my Augustinus Bader Rich Cream. I don't know if that had something to do with the foundation, but it almost seemed like it oxidized a little bit. So I went to the reviews on it and I saw a few people saying it oxidized. So I think that's just going back to how I talked about how this really does run or lean a little bit more on the yellow, like peachy side. So you may want to look into those cooler tone shades if you experience oxidation a lot. I am unsure about how I think this would perform with textured skin. If you're someone with textured skin or maybe scarring and you've tried this, let's let some people know down below what your experience was like, because I'm hesitant to talk on that. I don't have a ton of texture right now, shockingly. But something tells me just because it does dry down and it does kind of have that semi-satin finish, that it might possibly could look a little, you know what I mean, like divotty. Like if it's getting down into where texture is, or creased areas, and it's drying down, that's where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if this would be the best option for that. You know, someone with texture, I always love recommending the Basma foundation stick. This is like the perfect consistency to me for someone who has texture. And for me, when I have really bad eczema flare-ups and lots of redness and texture, this is what I reach for. I just don't know if the TirTir one would be one that I reach for in that scenario. I would love to know if you tried it, if you liked it, if it worked for you. It's great to see when people do that. Most of the time, other people read the comments and they can read like, oh, maybe I had the same experience, or, you know, maybe they hated it and then found someone else who hated it. Just, you know, we love that. We love that community. We love to know that we're being seen. So if you have tried this, would love to know your thoughts. And yeah, I wanted to give you the scoop on it because I haven't done a singular foundation review in a while. I'm thinking about doing like a speed review in the next month, on 4 new foundations that have come out, and giving you like quick speed reviews. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in. I've got it jotted down on some of my content ideas. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little foundation review, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.